Hello, everybody. A warm welcome from Berlin, as usual. Today, I have with me Gurpreet from Canada. She's also in the SWAT team, as I am. And we do have prepared for you a new topic around what to do with IBM Control Desk. How does it look like? How does it work? How to set it up? We have a demo system prepared for you, as well as a few slides. But before we go into that, I'd like to introduce Gurpreet a little bit. So do you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Myself, Gurpreet, I have been working with SWAT team for a long time. Before that, I was working with the NetCool development team in London. And I work as a solution architect and helping customers to bring the best value out of our Watson AIOps solution. Thank you.
Very good, thanks. With that, we can go into the presentations. What we're going to cover today is what is the service desk integrations in general. So we do have not just one, we do have several. There's a gateway component in there, which has a specific component in there which needs to be used as well, which is the TAL. What does TAL stand for, Gurpreet?
Yeah, it's a ticketing abstraction layer. So basically, this is a common library that is used among all the ticketing integrations that we do have. It can be ServiceNow, or it can be our ICD, or any other ticketing integrations. So this is a common layer that is used among all.
I like these acronyms which are used everywhere within our presentation documentations. Yeah, ticketing abstraction layer, cool. So we will have a demo system which Gurpreet is going to take you through, and there's also a special enhancement which we're going to show you. But before we go into that, we are setting the scene with what we're talking today within the Watson AIOps solution portfolio. So we are concentrating on the event manager. This is the NetCool piece. And we are going to talk about specific integration. But there's not just one integration into systems. We do have quite a few of those integrations. And these integrations are done using gateways. And here's a list of existing gateways. There are a few general purpose gateways, for example, the flat file gateway. With that, you can write from the object server into a file. And there are a few service manager integrations as well. For example, one of the most known ones is the action request system from BMC Remedy. There's also a gateway for HP Service Manager. There's a ServiceNow integration. There is a Siebel integration and the Tivoli Service Request Manager integration as well, which is also used to integrate into the IBM Control Desk today. So it's pretty much the same gateway that we're using. And we do have documentation in here. Down there is a link, which I have copied into the slides. And here on top of the slide, I have copied the link into all these gateways that are existing. Use this to look it up, and you will then go directly into a long list of all these gateways that are existing from a documentation perspective. And gateways in principle do have several components that you need to configure to set it up. So in general, gateways are used to export data from an object server and send it to a target. So therefore, all these gateways connect via a so-called reader component to an object server. Then there is a mapping, which defines what kind of fields we want to take from the object server, alerts to the status table, and how we want to transform them into the writer module. And the writer module defines what kind of target we are writing to. The writer is really a separate module, which is loaded at runtime. So you can have multiple writers in a single gateway configuration if you wish to. But usually we just use one writer component per gateway. So for example, if you want to set up the flat file gateway, there's a reader component, the mapping component, and the writer component to write towards a flat file. But you could also integrate in here, for example, a database writer into the same gateway component, but that would be a very unusual configuration. And I can't think of why you would want to do this kind of thing. Maybe you want to reuse the same filter statement and send the same stuff to two different objects. That would be a possibility, but I haven't seen that in practice anywhere. So this is what we call a unidirectional file. You send via one direction from the object server over a reader using the mapping, using the writer to a target. So this is a unidirectional integration. But there are also bidirectional integrations, and the bidirectional integration is a little bit more tricky because you have, of course, the object server, and there's a reader component which reads from this object server. And of course, there's mapping, which defines how to treat these object server fields to the target using the writer. And this can be, for example, another object server, but this can be also ticketing system or a database. And if in this bidirectional configuration, you would also have a reader component from the target using another mapping component in here and writing back to the original object server. So use case for that would be, for example, the bidirectional synchronization gateway, which synchronizes a object server pair and which creates, in essence, the failover configuration. So if you have a primary aggregation object server and a backup object server, this would be synchronized using this bidirectional object server gateway. And down there below, there is another configuration, and this is, for example, used for a clarify integration. So there is a reader module reading events from the object server and then writing it using a specific clarify module, writing into clarify. This uses then a specific table which is created in the service desk system, and any kind of feedback from clarify would then be read back. For example, a specific assigned user or trouble ticket number and these kind of things. That is information that you want to transform back into the original events. So all these events that have been created as please do out of these few events incidents in the clarify system, and as the success criteria, you would get the feedback from the system back into the object server, filling these fields, trouble ticket number, owner, status, these kind of things. So that varies a little bit depending on the target system, but this is more or less how these kind of bidirectional integrations using a gateway work. We sometimes issue new configurations, or you could yourself set up this kind of bidirectional or unidirectional configuration using Netcore Impact, using a service and a reader and a policy, and create all this logic yourself. And sometimes when we create these kind of new integrations, we would use this kind of policy integrations before we then later create a gateway, because the gateway is pretty static. So you can't add any additional logic in here because the reader, the writer, and the mapping and the filter statement is everything that you can configure besides the target and the source items. So all the rest would then be cast into the gateway. And that is pretty much what we do with all these kind of gateways and integrations in here. And if we go to the next slide, this is the configuration of the TRSRM gateway. So you can see in here, there is a reader and a writer module, and you also have this mapping component in here. And because the target is an XML format that we are going to create, you have this kind of setup to transport content to your target. And this is a little bit more complex, but in the end, this is all the same. And how this all works and looks like, this is something that Gurpreet is going to take you through. And before we're going to do this kind of demo, this is the architecture we're using. So we do have an aggregation object server pair, which is the point of integration that you want to use for this kind of integration. If you do have a 2-tier or 3-tier architecture, you would have additional collection or visualization object server pairs, but you always connect these kind of things to the aggregation layer because that is where it belongs to. And with that, I'm done with the slides, and I'd like to hand over to Gurpreet. Over to you.
Thank you, Fred. Let me start sharing my screen. So as Fred mentioned, we are going to walk through all the integration details of how we can integrate our Watson AI Ops solution to our service desk. That in this demo environment is IBM Control Desk. So we have installed in this environment the TSRM gateway that Fred explained about, the functionality of it. So now I'm going to walk you through like what all configurations we need to do in order to make it functional. Just a quick overview of the configurations. So basically when you install the TSRM gateway, it is installed under Omni Home Gates TSRM directory. There are a couple of config files that we need to update to make it operational. So first of all, as you can see on my screen, the first file that I want to have a quick look at is my gate properties. So this is where I configure the operational details of gateway, like from where to read and where to write. So where to write in this case is a ICD system. And with the credentials, I am going to put all the credentials and the access details for my ICD system. And where to read is my object server in the Watson AIOps solution. So this is the file where we configure the operational details. So that's the first part. And the second part is now next question is which tables we want to copy across, which information we want to transfer across. That is defined in my table replication definition file. So as for example, in this scenario, I have configured my alerts.status table, and you can filter what information from that particular table you want to pass through to the target. As you can see, I have filtered it with a log ticket. So only I want to send the ticketing alerts for the ticketing if my log ticket value is set to 1. Not all the alerts are worth ticketing. And also there is a filter, the table replication configured for journals. So you can have all your journal entries as a work log in your service ticket. So once we have defined our operational, like where to read and write, next one is what to read and write. The third part is how do we map that information that is in my service map. So in this example, we have configured two maps. One is for the status table map and other is the journal map. In this status map, we define the right-hand side columns are from my Omnibus object server from the Watson AI Ops solution, and the left-hand side are my ICD attributes. So they can be, depending on your service desk software, they can be different. The mapping can be different. So basically this is to define your mapping, and similarly for the journal map. So this is all the configuration that I need on the gateway side. So now on the left hand side where I am gonna configure my object server to talk to my ICD system, I need to have some additional columns to store the ticketing related information that I am going to get back from the ticketing system, whether from the service desk, whether that is about the incident or service request. For that, we have these out of the box available files that you can execute on your object server. It will automatically create required tools, columns, and automations. You just need to execute these tools. It will create all the required automation that is required for the ticketing. So once I execute that, so my object server is ready to have this integration functional. My gateway is ready with the configuration changes. I have configured my process automation to start the gateway. This is a get TSRM, that is the name of the gateway, and it is in a running state. And I can check the connections. My gateway, ticket gateway is up and running. So I am all set now with my gateway in place between my Watson AIOps object server and my ICD system. So just a quick look at my ICD system over here. So this is my IBM Control Desk system. I'm going to log in into it. Okay. So if I go into its service desk module under incidents, so this is where my all incidents are going to appear, or where my service desk team is going to start working from it, right? So as you can see, these are a couple of incidents already created and owners assigned with a particular owner group and owners. So this is how the incidents are going to appear on the ICD side. So I'm going to go log in into my Watson AI Ops system where my alerts are flowing in. So now at this point in time, my gateway is functional. So anything I want to send across should be functional to. So I'm launching into the event viewer. So as you can see in this view, there is a TT number, that's a ticket number that is coming back from my ICD system and the ticket status. So for these two alerts or incident groups, we have already tickets created. So this is new incident. I don't have ticket created for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do right click and create a new ticket for this. It's a log ICD ticket tool that is automatically created when I executed those SQL files that are available out of the box. So when I
There's quite
execute
a few
this,
integrations already in your system. Quite a lot of integrations in there, runbook automation and all these other things.
yeah. So not only that, Fred, if you see over here, so we have a couple of different integrations for the ticketing as well, like the Jira ticket and also the ServiceNow ticket we have configured in this system. So I have just set it like if I am setting the log ticket values different, it will send the ticketing to the different ticketing system.
Mm.
Okay, so as you can see, the ticketing information is back. Over here, you can see the ticket is created 1662 and it is in the initial queued state. I can go from here and launch directly into the ICD system from this alert. And you will see this is the incident created in the service desk that the service team can work on. And not only that, we have also this automation that will give you direct link back to the whole group of alerts that were related to that particular incident. So as a service engineer, not only I get one alert for which the ticket is created, I get the whole context of all the symptom of that problem. In order to resolve this issue, I need that context to understand and pinpoint, okay, this is what I need to work on. So started from here, we created an incident into the service, into our IBM Control Desk, and we have option to launch it back into our event viewer to see the whole context. So that is one part of the integration flowing in one direction from Watson AIOps into our ICD system. So now the next part is when I started as a service engineer to work on this ticket, I want to move it to the next level into in progress. I see that, okay, this is a particular problem that I'm going to work on now. I move it to in progress state. And I can write.
So this is when you as an operator would work actually on the ticket, have taken ownership and document the progress in there.
Yes. So now on the ICD side, I have started working on it. So now this status should reflect back in my AI ops system. As you can see over here, the ticket status is now in progress. So this is the whole bidirectional integration for creating tickets and keeping the systems in sync when the ticket is in progress. So in either way, if this issue resolves itself in the Watson AIOps side, that information will be sent across and closed on both sides. Or if it is resolved on the ICD side, that information is sent back and it's closed in the AIOps. So that's why we keep the bidirectional communication going on to keep both the systems in sync about the current and latest state of any incident that's in my operational environment. Okay, so that is the first part of it. And the second part, I want to show like how we can leverage the maintenance window functionality to bridge the gap between the changes that are happening in my service request system to my operational system. So for example, when there is any change planned on any of my assets, so I'm going back into my IBM Control Desk. So the first module that we were looking at was the service requests. From here in the service desk, the next module I'm going to show is the changes. So when the changes are planned on any of our devices or the assets, I'm going into the changes. So for example, these are the current changes that are planned in the system. So whenever we are doing the changes, there is ought to be like many number of events coming from that particular node or the asset, because if I am replacing a faulty fan, I need to stop that system and then restart it, all the alerts that are coming during that maintenance window, someone need to know that they are not the actual operations problem. It is due to the maintenance that is going on in the background. So in order to achieve that, what we can use is we have our impact enrichment engine that is a part of our Watson AIOps solution. So what we have done over here is, so as impact can talk to any of your data sources, it can bring in all that information and it can leverage to automate or to enrich any of the alerts in our Watson AIOps object server. So what we have done over here is, in the data model, we created one data source that can talk to the changes data source in my ICD system. So this is the database connection that we have. So the changes data source is getting all the information from the work order change table in the ICD system. And we have created one policy. So the maintenance window is the default out of the box feature that is available in Watson AIOps. So what we are trying to do over here, we are trying to integrate that maintenance window functionality with whatever service desk changes module we have. So in this case, it's ICD, but you can configure it to talk to any other changes system that you have. So what we are doing in this simple policy, I have created this simple 10 lines policy. It's reading all the changes that are in the system and then creating a maintenance window corresponding to that. So this policy created and enable the service that is out of the box maintenance window service. This is the maintenance window activator. You just enable it. It will start running. That's it. What we need to do in order to configure automatic maintenance window from the changes database. So now I am going back over here. I have created a simple dashboard to show the maintenance. Okay. So what you're seeing in this dashboard is, on the top left hand side are the scheduled changes that are coming directly from the changes database in the ICD. So these are the scheduled changes. And on the bottom pane over here, this is the maintenance windows that are created corresponding to these changes in our impact, that is the enrichment engine. And these are automatically applied to all the events that are coming in. So when you apply any changes in the active windows, if the maintenance window is there and we have active alerts, they will be automatically suppressed. And how many alerts are there in the suppression, you will see that count over here in the maintenance window. So for example, the maintenance window, if I go here and check, okay, this was the replace faulty BTS maintenance window over here. And this was on the asset BTS1. I go back here and try to simulate some alerts for that particular node.
You insert these demo events using a script.
Yes. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to send some alerts for that particular asset that is under maintenance right now. So whatever alerts are going to come through, they are going to be suppressed automatically using this maintenance window. And I need not to do anything for that. And those suppressed alarms are going to be seen over here as a suppressed alarm count. Okay, so these are the alarms that are suppressed automatically using that maintenance window. So if you see that filter, it just sets up that suppress escalation field for those alarms that for the nodes that are under maintenance. So what we have seen is created automatically maintenance window using that policy from the changes database in the ICD, and that maintenance window is automatically applied to the live alerts. So if the alerts are coming from the device under maintenance, they are suppressed. They are not going into the operational practices for fixing the problem because they are known issues because of the maintenance.
So you're reducing the actionable events further with this policy.
Sorry?
You're reducing the actionable events further because you mark them as already known issues, the maintenance window behind that.
Yeah.
So that's something we do expect.
Yes.
Cool. I like it.
Yep. I think that's it, Fred.
Nice. Cool. To summarize it, we have seen now a integration between Omnibus object servers and IBM Control Desk using a gateway. We forward selected events towards the control desk using a filter statement. The filter statement is set using a tool. You select a few events, you mark these events as to be forwarded using the tool, which sets a flag. The gateway picks this flag because there's a specific filter in the gateway, which then grabs these events, forwards that to control desk, and within control desk, an operator can now then work on these selected events and progress them. And if there's an update, the gateway will pick these updates and transport that back into the object server as well. And there's another integration, which is using the maintenance window manager. So if there are specific events which are in the area of where something has been defined as under maintenance within Maximo, then this is automatically marked as in maintenance, and the suppression and escalation flag is set, and therefore they are removed from the operator's direct view and put under maintenance. So really nice view. We've introduced functionality of Netcool already in the noise reduction part 2 video, and this is taking it to another level. Thank you everybody for your attention. Thank you Gurpreet for preparation of all these showcases and demo systems. That was really cool. I really liked it. And if there's anything else you'd like to see from us, just drop us a note, give us an email, or any kind of other information that you want to see something else in a video, because these kind of videos are quite easy to produce for us, and these are best practices educational videos. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and your time today. Gurpreet and the audience, see you another time. Bye.